What's going on, guys? So in this video, I'm bringing to you what I believe to be the 15 absolute best smelling blue fragrances currently that I have in my personal collection. Some of your favorites are going to be on here. I mean, hell, 15 of my favorites are on here. But these work in every situation. Some are a little better suited for warmer weather because they're a little bit fresher. But most of these just work for anything and everything, all season, all year round, all attire. Let's talk about them. Stay tuned. Starting with one that I've really fallen in love with this year that I picked up not that long ago. I keep featuring on the channel because I just believe it's so damn good. We're talking about Missoni Wave. This is a lovely combination of elements of Versace Parfum meets elements of Chanel Laurent Sport. Just such a good fragrance. God, it smells great. It really does. It's got a little bit of some citrus up top. It's got a marine aquatic feel to it with these C notes. There's a little touch of some creamy florals from this orchid note. It's actually a vanilla orchid note. Adds a little bit of sweetness. It's creamy and aromatic. It's a little soapy. It's actually got quite a bit of depth and character. And above average performance. Not a beast, but not a weak fragrance. Kind of falls in that 6 to 7 hour territory in longevity on my skin with pretty solid projection and sillage for, up to about the first 2 hours as far as projection's concerned, arm's length type of stuff. And then, like I said, a nice little scent bubble and trail for the remainder of the life of the fragrance. This is really good stuff, can be found for a great price, sub $50 online. If you can find it at TJ Maxx like I did, you're looking at $32. That is the ideal spot to get it, obviously, but you can find it right around $40 from most places online, which I think is still a great price. One of the absolute best smelling blue fragrances currently. It's Missoni Wave. Next is what I believe to be the best smelling, most versatile, easygoing fragrance from Parfums de Marly. We're talking about Parfums de Marly Sedley. Yes, Percival's one of their blue fragrances as well, super mass appealing beast of a fragrance. But with Sedley, it's a little smoother, a little bit more refined, not so in your face, but has a gorgeous sillage. This has a beautiful, long-lasting, strong trail on it that anosmia is a real thing with this one. You'll think maybe 4 or 5 hours into it, it's become a faint skin scent. When I've had situations where 7 and 8 hours into the life of this fragrance, I get a compliment from somebody that was every bit of 5 or 6 feet behind me when I happened to pass by. So the sillage is where the magic is in this one. It's a little minty. It's a little aromatic. There's a touch of citrus here without it being too much citrus. It's a little creamy. There's a nice woody balance here. The ambroxan is not too much. It doesn't make it too soapy. It's not just a straight up shower gel fragrance. It does have higher quality than some of the other a lot of the other fragrances in this video, though I wouldn't put it on the highest level of luxury niche. But if you're looking for just a great, versatile, get your money's worth type of luxury fragrance, you might want to check out Sedley, because Sedley's definitely one of the best smelling blue fragrances. A modern day icon in my personal opinion, it is the smooth, refined take on the wildly popular Dior Sauvage EDT. Prada can say whatever they want. They were definitely going for Dior Sauvage when they made Prada Luna Rossa Carbon. This is much smoother because the lavender used here makes for a nice, clean, smooth, soapy take on that ambroxan heavy DNA. There's a little bit of a coal note here. There's a few other darker, earthy elements to this that kind of grounds the scent, but doesn't make it a dirty fragrance. It's still very, very clean, uplifting. This is much more of an office-appropriate version of that ambroxan heavy, metallic shower gel type of smell that Dior Sauvage is known for. I prefer this over the EDT. I do. It's a better fragrance through and through. It's kind of like it takes some of the screechiness, that sharp edge, that heavy metallic edge that the original, Dior Sauvage EDT has, and it kind of, like I said, the lavender here, the way it's done, smooths everything out. Anosmia is another issue with this one, like it is with a few other fragrances. Mainly with Sedley, like we've talked about so far, because the ambroxan is pretty heavy here. It's easy to get some anosmia, a little olfactory fatigue. Your nose will tend to wear out, and you'll think it's gotten very weak just a few hours in, when this is actually quite the heavy sillaged fragrance. This makes a lovely scent bubble that's just going to surround you for most of a workday, depending on your work situation. This is, like I said, this is the best, one of the best Ambroxan based fragrances that I've always liked for office situations. As long as you're modest with the sprays. If you spray this one on the heavy side, it's going to be a lot, because it is a very strong fragrance, and it's definitely one of the best smelling blues. It's probably Luna Rossa Carbon. While I do believe this entire line to be good, every single fragrance in this line has its own merit. The only one I've never tried, that I never will try, because of the outrageous, ridiculous resale price eBay sellers are asking for the discontinued Polo Red, White, and Blue. We're talking about the Polo Blue line, but here we're talking about Polo Deep Blue Parfum. This is still my favorite. Even though I really, really like the newest flanker in 2022, Polo Blue Parfum, which is a very similar name. This is Polo Deep Blue Parfum. This is basically Polo Blue and Dior Sauvage with some added green notes like cypress. It's lovely. If you're a fan of blue fragrances, this is at minimum a must try. You must get your nose on this one, because it combines, like I said, a lot of what people do like about Dior Sauvage with a lot of things that people do like about Polo Blue. They make a modern day blue fragrance out of Polo Blue. This is wonderful. I've been seeing it pop up at Nordstrom racks for 52 or 54 bucks, something like that, for a 4.2 ounce like this. Kingdom Fragrances, Steve has it for right around 48, maybe 48 to $52. I forgot exactly what it was when I looked the other day. So right around that $50 range, you can get 125 ml of this fragrance. It's above average performance. It is a smooth compliment getter. I wore this to my stepson's high school graduation, so I do have a wonderful scent memory tied to this one, and it's one that I don't go back to all the time, because it's kind of one of those more special blue fragrances to me for that reason specifically, but it doesn't shortchange how great it is. It's versatile. It's got great performance. It pretty much checks all the boxes as long as you're good with Ambroxan, because there's definitely a nice dose of it here. It's that fresh aquatic tone of Polo Blue with the shower gel, metallic, soapy, kind of versatile, peppery, bergamot kind of smell with some of Dior Sauvage, like I said, with the fresh green note of cypress. Beautiful, beautiful, wonderful smelling blue fragrance, Polo Deep Blue Parfum. One of the most popular blue fragrances on the market. You'll hear people talk about, oh, new batches this, new batches that. I don't play that batch variation stuff. When I want a fragrance, I just buy the fragrance, because this one's, I see notoriously in my comments, people talk about different batch codes and all that. When it comes to Yves Saint Laurent's Y Eau de Parfum, this, never researched the batch code. I know it's a newer bottle, but for those that care, there you go. And this is an absolute monster. This is not that old of a bottle. It's a 2 ounce. That beautiful green apple, ambergris, sage. It's just such a great fragrance. It's more chemically synthetic than some of the other blue fragrances. Though not an Ambroxan bomb, it kind of smells like there could be some in there. It's probably the way the ambergris comes across. It's got an aquatic tone, but here with the EDP, it's a little bit sweeter. The apple's really dominant here in the top. It's got that sweet, fruity, fresh smell to it. It's a massive compliment getter. It's crazy versatile. It's not my favorite for the summer. I do like the EDT and Eau Fraiche a lot better for the summertime. They're a lot fresher in high heat. They shine better. This can get a little cloying in high heat. But I'll tell you what, the rest of the year, and even in summer evenings, you can wear this for everything. It's super versatile. It dresses up, it dresses down. You can take it on a date night. People love the way this stuff smells. The sillage is the magic when it comes to this fragrance. It smells incredible. Get your nose on this one if you haven't yet. It's still the highlight of the line. It's still most people's favorites. It's Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum. Now, even though Dior Sauvage EDT is not my personal favorite in the line, I do enjoy it. I do wear it. I do like Prada Luna Rossa Carbon more. But because of the additional spiciness, it provides a lot more character in the Eau de Parfum flanker of Dior Sauvage. I think this is a better happy medium between the Parfum and the Elixir on one side, and then you have the cool spray and the EDT on the other. This lands right in the middle. You get a little bit more sweetness and spice from the Parfum and from the Elixir. So There's your spice and sweetness, kind of that more heavier, dense type of fragrance. And then you still have all of the freshness, in my opinion, the bergamot, that shower gel feel, that the magic of what the EDT has, and even the cool spray with that bright bergamot. You get all of that with the Eau de Parfum. It performs great, in my opinion. Another one that you'll hear batch variations and complaints and all that good stuff from people about, so I might as well. Right there. For those that care, there's my batch, another 60 ml. This is one that 4 sprays is more than enough. This is a monster on my skin. And it's year round. This one does work just as well in the high heat as the EDT and the cool spray, though I might be a little mindful of the sprays. And the rest of the year, just like with EDP, dresses up, dresses down. Like I said, added spice and sweetness without being too sweet. More spicy than sweet, with all of that beautiful freshness, citrus, and shower gel appeal of its fresher counterparts. Definitely, still to this day, one of the best smelling blue fragrances is Dior Sauvage Eau de Parfum. Though sadly discontinued, I believe they've discontinued the entire line, you can still find this fragrance for a decent price, still well below retail from different discounters. I want to say Kingdom Fragrance had this recently. I believe I've seen it either on fragrancebuy.ca or FragranceNet. I'm not 100% sure. I'm always looking at the websites, but Bvlgari Aqua Atlantiqve. This is basically the more aquatic version of Versace Dylan Blue, is kind of how you can look at it. And it's really good. I mean, it's strong. It's a beast in performance. Like I said, take what's great about Dylan Blue without the incense and stuff like that, some of the darker nuances, and take Bvlgari Aqua, that beautiful salty sea breeze marine type of fragrance. You get this when you combine the two. Massive compliment getter. Some people have told me about this rotten egg smell they get from some of these blue fragrances. I don't know if it's the amber wood or what, but I've never experienced that. I never get that issue. That's a skin chemistry thing. So if you deal with that with some of these fragrances, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure that's terrible to deal with. Fortunately for me, this just smells absolutely incredible. There's another fragrance on this list that notoriously has this rotten eggs kind of thing going for them when it comes to blue fragrances. So be wary of that. Definitely try before you buy with all of these fragrances if you can. I know some situations you're not able to, but this is probably one of those that you're kind of not able to. Maybe get a decant from someone online and try it for yourself, because this is one of the best ever. One of the best blue fragrances ever. It's been around for a few years now, sadly. No longer being produced from what I understand, but it still can be found pretty easily for a really good price, in my opinion. Still 60 some odd dollars, $70 range is not that bad when you consider what you're getting, the level of performance, and how often people are actually going to want to tell you you smell good, in my personal experience. No guarantees for everybody, but I've definitely got my fair share of compliments with Bvlgari Aqua Atlantiqve. Iconic, versatile, a must-try for anybody starting out with this hobby, in my personal opinion. It's kind of the beginning of a lot of people's journeys because it's so versatile, it smells so damn good, and admittedly, it had to grow on me. At first, I wasn't a huge fan of Versace Dylan Blue. You know, speaking of Versace Dylan Blue, here it is. This is a beautiful fragrance that deserves all the recognition it's ever gotten. It's citrus fresh, it's aquatic, it's rich and robust, it's very woody, there's a touch of incense. It kind of takes elements across all blue fragrances in the genre and kind of makes arguably the ultimate blue fragrance. Like I said, oddly attractive. Another one that olfactory fatigue is a real issue with. I've experienced it many times myself, where you'll be a few hours in, think it's gotten really weak, and again, 7, 8, 9 hours into you wearing it, somebody pays you a nice compliment from a few feet away when you walk by. The sillage, again, is the magic when it comes to fragrances like Versace Dylan Blue. It's more on the unique side as far as blue fragrances when it came out. Now there's so many fragrances that kind of have an element of Dylan Blue in them, and this kind of borrowed from others when it came out, to be honest with you. They all kind of rip one another off in some way or another, but they all have their own merit. They all have their own little twist and tweak to make them their own fragrance. And with Versace Dylan Blue, like I said, it's got kind of the incense you would expect with some of the citrus from Bleu de Chanel. You've got some ambroxan that you would expect from a Dior Sauvage, and so on. There's an aquatic hit. There's just really great nuances to this fragrance that, like I said before, admittedly, I didn't like the first 2 or 3 times I wore. Now, I love this stuff. It's Actually got a decent dent. You're probably not going to be able to see it through there. But 100% one of the best smelling blue fragrances is Versace Dylan Blue. A relatively newer fragrance that I absolutely adore. It's actually my current favorite version of Cool Water. We're talking about Cool Water Parfum. I have a limited amount of experience with this one. I've only worn it maybe a handful of times, and I love this stuff. I think it's remarkable. It takes all of the bubblegummy aspects away from the intense, because I used to have the last time I did this video, the last top 15 best blues had Cool Water Intense. And yes, that is one of the best, but this edges it out in the scent category for me. This is more versatile, signature scent worthy type of blue. You have some citruses, you have some pink pepper that provides a little sweet peppery kick, but the beauty here is it's kind of an earthy tone in the backdrop, a little bit of a smoky, earthy, woody vetiver that really grounds this scent, makes it more of a deep character type of blue. It's not just this crazy aquatic, super fresh fragrance. Though it does have some of that, it's toned back to really provide that depth. Like I said, performance is well above average, not super loud after about an hour and a half, 2 hours, a bit more subdued, but very consistent in its projection because it's a higher oil concentration. This is wonderful. If you can find them at the rack stores, this 50 ml is going to run you 25 bucks. That's where this one came from. Online, they're starting to creep down a little bit more in that 30 some odd $40 range. Still worth it right there for a 50 ml, in my opinion. Get your nose on this one if you can. Somewhere that sells Cool Water fragrances, Davidoff fragrances, go see if they have testers. Spray this one on your skin, walk around, spend some time with it. Because it's that good, in my opinion. Definitely one of the best smelling blues out there currently. Davidoff Cool Water Parfum. I just wore this past week in my weekly rotation video. It was featured, and I called it kind of a super blue. Because this is definitely, if this was ranked, this would probably be in the top 3 for sure, because I think that highly of it. We're talking about Giorgio Armani's Acqua di Gio Profondo. This is so good, guys. This is everything you've come to expect when you hear the term blue, but much more than that. Because it's so much more marine and aquatic, they created this note called Aqua Zone that makes it even more of an oceanic sea breeze type of feel on top of the sea notes, marine notes that they've been using in this line for years now. It's lovely, super by the beach, breezy feel with all the performance. This stuff's a compliment magnet too. Now look, I don't get a compliment every time I wear it, but I've had my fair share, trust me. This stuff is really, really good. Even with the new Eau de Parfum coming out, I still think this is probably your safest play, your best bet if you're just going to get one fragrance to add to your wardrobe this summer from this line. They're all good. In my opinion, every Acqua di Gio fragrance is good. From the original all the way to the new EDP. They're all good. But if you're just getting one, this one checks all the boxes because it's still kind of true to the DNA minus some of the green notes. If you want more of the green notes with this Profondo DNA, get Profondo Lights. But it's like if Acqua di Gio was a brand new fragrance, this would be the first release. Because it's a modern day blue done right. Alberto Marias is a genius. Everything he touches turns to gold, as far as I know in the marketplace. Nobody does aquatic blues quite like that man, and this is the embodiment of that. It's Acqua di Gio Profondo. One of my favorites, my favorite cheap blue that I don't really wear in the summertime. I find it's a little much, it's a little cloying, a little too sweet and powdery for the summertime. Spring, fall, ideal times for me personally to wear this one. It's one of the fragrances most synonymous with the TLTG Reviews YouTube channel. It is Salvatore Ferragamo Aqua Essenziale Blue. Still one of my favorites, guys. Like I said, I haven't been wearing it lately because it's hot outside. I don't like to wear this one when it's really hot. But it still makes me happy when I smell it. This is so good, guys. Eventually I'll run through this 50 ml and then I'll have to bust out my 100 ml backup. So I've got plenty. I've probably got a lifetime supply based on the large amassed collection of fragrances that I have. 150 ml is probably good forever. As long as it doesn't spoil, which takes a long time for stuff to spoil when stored properly. But if you haven't smelled this one yet, If you've yet to take me up on my advice when trying this one, I really feel like you're missing out. They do pop up at the rack stores, 50 mLs like this for $16.99. If you see this one out there, roll the dice. Roll the dice on it. That's if you end up not liking it, I'll take the heat for it because I'm the one telling you to roll the dice. But if you've ever heard me say anything you liked about this fragrance, including right now, because it's got a little bit of the citrus of Bleu de Chanel in the top note, it starts to settle into almost like a sweet and powdery take on Dylan Blue. This is one that kind of is a good alternative for Dylan Blue because it's a bit more affordable in most places, but it doesn't smell exactly like Dylan Blue. It's kind of got its own character because the tonka bean lavender combo here provides a nice aromatic, lightly powdery, sweet tone. There's some cypriol oil that adds a little bit of earthiness to kind of ground it. Like I said, this is ideal in the spring and fall, shines really well in the winter too. Yes, you can get away with it year round and wear it in the summer. It's just I have so many other options. That's why I kind of veer away from it in the summer because I don't deem it ideal for that season. But there's no denying how good this one smells. Performance is well above average, right under being a beast on my skin. This is great stuff. My favorite Salvatore Ferragamo fragrance, Aqua Senziale Blue. So Bleu de Chanel is synonymous with men's fragrances for versatility, sales, likability. There's levels to it. You have the eau de toilette, you have the eau de parfum, and then you have my favorite, which is the Parfum. This is the warm, woody take on the DNA. You still have some citrus up top. It's a lemon zest note. It's not a loud fragrance. This is subdued. It's very toned back, even at first. It's not really loud in the first hour. It's noticeable. It's detectable. It's within arm's reach in the first hour, hour and a half. And it's a bit close to the skin. But the sillage, again, is the magic because it lingers in the air. It's a high oil concentration. So the sillage is dense. Not crazy long, super crazy long trail, but as you walk by, it will linger. There's opportunity for others to smell you. It's refined and polished. Like I said, it's everything you love about the lighter versions of it, just more matured, more refined. It dresses up better. This is the Bleu de Chanel for a suit and tie. This is the professional setting Bleu de Chanel. Even though the EDP and EDT will work just fine in those situations. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like this does it even better. It really does. It's the most expensive of the three, don't get me wrong. But when you smell it, it's probably the most put together of the blue fragrances on the market. This is the most refined. This is the most suit and tie appropriate. My personal opinion, of course. Get your nose on it. It's at every department store that sells Chanel fragrances, which is your Macy's, your Dillard, your Neiman Marcus, and so on and so on. Nordstrom's, and they all sell it. Get to the fragrance counter, get this on your skin, and see if it's for you, because it's definitely for me. It's hands down. This would have been in the top 3 if it was ranked 2. Hands down, one of the best smelling blue fragrances of all time. Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Definitely the most expensive fragrance in this video, but you got to give it its due. When it comes to smelling good, few can do it the way Roja Parfums Elysium Parfum Cologne can. This is the more popular version of Elysium. It's less expensive, though still very expensive. It's less expensive than the Parfum Pour Homme, which I personally do deem maybe a little bit better because of its performance, but this opening and sillage is just as good, maybe not quite as good as the Parfum Pour Homme, but this is just a little bit fresher because it's fresh like a cologne, but is supposed to have more depth and performance like a Parfum. That's the story of the Parfum Cologne line. This is the freshest of the line. This is the chick magnet, compliment magnet. Women love this one, gaga type of fragrance. I know a lot of people in the community that this is the one. This is the one for them when it comes to their lady. This is the fragrance she loves the most, and so on. And there's no denying in my personal experience that my wife loves the way this one smells too. She always points it out and knows when I wear it because she's gotten very familiar with the scent. Definitely worth getting a sample so you can get the olfactive experience. Yes, there's clones out there and alternatives and so on, but none of them can really capture the magic of the original in my personal opinion. It's just one of those deals where you got to try it for yourself so you can understand. If you want to go the route of alternatives after, that is up to you. But it's definitely one of the best smelling blues ever created, and it's more on the high-end luxury side. This is a luxurious blue fragrance done right. Again, that's Roja Parfums Elysium Parfum Cologne. Next, this is basically Chrome meets Aqua di Gio Profondo. Some of you know where I'm going with this, with Azzaro's Chrome Extreme. This is kind of like getting Aqua di Gio Profondo on a budget, but it's a more metallic take on it. Like I said, it smells like you're combining this with Chrome, because it is a more extreme, appropriately named, take on the Chrome scent profile. That sharp citrus metallic shower gel smell that has become so mega popular over the 2+ decades. We're almost to 3 decades. I think it came out in like 97, so we're a few years away from like 3 decades of Chrome. And look, they've released a ton of flankers, but in my opinion, this is the cream of the crop. This is the best Chrome version. It performs fantastic. It's every bit of 8 to 10 hours on my skin. It's a loud fragrance. You don't need a lot of sprays. It'll go far for you. It's around $50. We'll get you a 100 milliliter bottle. It's more affordable than getting Aqua di Gio Profondo, but like I said, it's a more metallic take. It's kind of like one step down from that. How I call that a super blue. This is like one step down from being a super blue. Really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. I harp over and over many different times in many different videos about how good this is, because I really wish more people would get their nose on it, because I really believe if you're a fan of Chrome and you want the ultimate version of Chrome, it's not the new EDP. That's just an even more shower gel smelling version of Chrome, whereas this is a much more aquatic, extreme, intense take. Modern take, basically. Chrome was a new fragrance. Like for the first time, same thing I said about Profondo, same thing here. If Chrome was brand new, this would be the first in the line. One of the best smelling blues out there is Chrome Extreme. So this is more of a light blue fragrance, kind of like how Missoni Wave is, but it's still got the performance and the power of a blue, because what it's flankered from is more of a light blue fragrance than this one is. I'm talking about Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. This is the other fragrance I was saying. Some people say they have a kind of a rotten egg smell on their skin. I think it must be the amberwood, because that's what this and Bvlgari, Aqua, Atlantiqve have most in common. I've never experienced that with either of these fragrances. This is gorgeous. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue is one of my all-time favorites. It's a lifer for me. If something happened and I can only grab what I could fit right here, I'd probably grab that over this, to be honest with you. I'd probably grab both of them, really, but it's that good. I got to spray it. It's so good. Monster in performance, salty marine, aquatic, a little peppery spice, everything that's good about the original just intensified. Again, appropriately named flanker. I love when they get it right with these flankers. Oh, intense. It is the more intense version. And it's every bit of like a 9-10 hour fragrance on my skin. Loud in the first 2 to 3 hours. Long-lasting sillage. Another one, the magic's in the trail. It smells much better out in the air than it does directly off of skin. This is a beautiful fragrance that has the potency and the density more so of a traditional blue fragrance than a light blue. Light blues are much, much fresher and lighter. This is dense and powerful, and holds its own when it comes to compliments for sure. One of the all-time greats when it comes to smelling good. As far as blues, it's Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. And then just for fun, one bonus fragrance here at the end, because technically a light blue fragrance, and it's light and airy and fresh, but, you know, I'd take this one over all of them. It is my favorite fragrance in my collection. It's Invictus Aqua 2018 from Paco Rabanne. This is a tester bottle. That's why it says the name on the front. I have multiple bottles of this. I love this stuff. Grapefruit, powdery violet, aquatic notes. It's salty sea breeze, a lot of ambergris. It's powdery. It's above average in performance, but it's not a beast. The original, the 2016, was a beast, but it was a little bit more chemically synthetic than this one. I've always liked this one better. Personal preference. I smell it still floating. I've gotten more compliments out of this fragrance than any fragrance I've ever worn. I love it. It puts me in a great mood when I wear it. It's one that, even though I know I don't need to refresh after 3 or 4 hours, I do it again just to intensify my scent bubble and just be able to fall in love and enjoy that opening all over again. If you haven't smelled this one yet, you really should. I've heard it's discontinued. I'm not 100% sure on how accurate that is. If it is and it's too expensive for you, or it's harder to find for you, check out Halloween Man Hero. It's basically a dead ringer for it. Instead of violet, it's got lavender, so it's slightly soapier than this, but like 85-90% same scent, same performance. But if you can get this one, this is the way to go. This is the ultimate for as many fragrances as I have in my collection, from niche to cheap, from all the diversity of scent profiles, from very artistic fragrances to super crazy mass appealing, which is most everything in this video. This is still my personal favorite. I would take, if I could only keep one fragrance, it's this fragrance. That's how much I enjoy it. So I had to throw it in here as kind of a bonus fragrance. It's technically 16 fragrances because of this, but my favorite of all of them. Paco Rabanne's Invictus Aqua 2018 formula. Well, that's the 15 plus one bonus at the end that I have for you today. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What in this video do you have or have you tried? What have you yet to try? What sparked your interest in this video? I'd love to know down below. Happy 4th of July to all of you watching this the day the video goes live, because at the recording of this, it is the eve before Independence Day. That's why I'm wearing appropriate stuff. For those of you watching in the future, that's kind of random, I guess, but happy 4th of July to those of you watching this the day it goes live. Be careful out there on the road. Don't drink too much. Enjoy some great barbecue with family and friends. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the fragrances I've featured in this video and you give them a spray now, I'm really confident you'll thank me later. Because you know I love my blues. Have a good one, guys.